Hi, and I'm sorry I am late. That is a fabulous start, isn't it? And this is why we check these things. So I've been chatting away for the last 3 minutes to nobody. Do you know what? They weren't very engaged, all those nobodies that I went live into. Yes, that will absolutely just prove the point of always make sure you're prepared. So now I know I'm in the right place, and I'm still going to check because I'm so paranoid. Please say hi as you join. The more people that come in, give us a like, the more notifications fire out from the group and let people know where we are. So I have just been live in a group that I used for a challenge and that hasn't had any activity in it for more than a month. Yes, I can now see myself. So yeah, funnily enough, nobody could find it. So I've just liked my own. I'm going to put a comment in and say that I'm here. So if you are catching me, please say hi. I'm going to repeat what I've just said because nobody else has heard it. If you haven't used StreamYard before, it will pop up as being a Facebook user. It's instant on there. Chris, hello, good morning. So on my StreamYard, it says Facebook user, but I'm gonna triple screen. So Chris, I know you're here. Good morning to you. Yeah, so setting all of this up last night, doing a practice run, doing it right. I've got everything, yeah, all to part. I actually set it up in about 90 seconds at 4 minutes past the hour. So let's get on. We are here today to talk about ideal clients and the alternative approaches that you can take. And I'm going to share with you a bit of a, is it a secret? It's not that commonly talked about, but it can absolutely add rocket fuel to your messaging, and it can take you into a place where you suddenly can expand your reach, expand your message so that you've got a broader resonance with different people for different reasons. Before we get into the alternative, I'm going to do a very whistle-stop tour of the traditional approach because I want you to see the difference in how they can complement each other and be used in different places. So please, if you're catching on the replay, say hi, ask any questions you've got as we go, give me some examples. I will give you feedback even if you're not on the live. I will go back to the comments, I'll read them, and I will support you and give you the answers to those. It feels like a long time since I've used StreamYard. That's probably why I was a bit rusty. The last few masterclasses I've done, I just spoke, so I didn't use all the various tech. So it is a little bit like flying a plane, and I'm doing this solo in the middle of also a thunderstorm. So if the lights flash and everything goes off, you know that's why. Yeah, my dogs desperately wanted to go out before we did this. I was like, no, I'm not going out. I'm getting to be a drowned rat. So now it's absolutely bouncing down outside, but we will push on. We're not outside. It's not an outside broadcast, is it, at all? So I'm taking it you can see the slides okay. Let's just make them bigger and me, little mini me in the corners, just so that you can make sure you read them okay. So yeah, say hi, just so that I know who's here. I'll probably have met you on some level before, so I'll be able to gauge where you are in your journey, and possibly I know your ideal clients as well. And I love being able to make this very specific to you and your situation. So I have to change the slides on one screen, look at your comments on another, and then stream on another and try and look at the camera. But we're good. We'll do it. We will do this. Okay, so if anyone is new to me and to this group, firstly, massive welcome. Thank you for joining. Little tiny snapshot about me. So I'm a visibility coach and business mentor. I help specifically results-driven female coaches to get consistent clients. And we do that without having to spend those hours and hours dedicating our lives to being on social media. That is not how any of us want to live our lives. But instead we build a personality-focused, the important part about you, visibility strategy that takes you across different channels. You don't need to have all your eggs in one basket. You don't need to have just one particular way that you promote yourself. Variety is key. That's how we get that beautiful multi-dimensional life. And you can do that in your processes too, that you promote yourself through. So in terms of what I do to support those people, so it's very much bespoke, one-to-one support, really high touch. And I also offer group and smaller, shorter one-to-one programs as well. I'm on a mission to help women create bigger impact. I think that really encompasses everything. I want to see those that I serve then go on to serve others in a much bigger, broader way, so they enjoy both what they do and who they help can then help, etc., etc. What else about me? I have 2 dogs and I have 2 boys. And yeah, that's me. I'm in the UK, in case anyone's totally not knowing me. But yeah, in Warwickshire in the UK, where I've lived for nearly half my life now, but I've been up and down the UK a little bit. So in terms of, this is ridiculously sensitively clicky. Did I go to then? So the what and the who. What is this about and who is this for? Because I always like to be sure. Oh, someone said hi. Who says hi? I don't want to ignore you. Tanya, hello, my lovely. How are you? It's fabulous to see you here. So in terms of who this is for and what we're covering, we are looking at who, sorry, it's so long since I've seen you, Tanya. It's really, really genuinely nice. That's put me really off. We're looking at those of us who feel or have felt like that single client approach has given us some sort of restriction. So we feel a little bit hemmed in, a little bit backed against the wall, and we want to have a wider potential of being able to share our expertise. And we are experts in what we do, but maybe the world isn't hearing that quite enough. So you're a coach who isn't quite signing the clients that you would like to. And that, by the way, there is no minimum standard. There is no, well, I need to have got to this certain level. That might be for you 2 clients. That might be 10 clients. That might be 200 clients. There's no judgment here whatsoever. It's about signing the clients that you would like. But principally, you want to be able to connect with them with ease. You don't want to have to be feeling like it's a hustle and a grind and a drag to bring them towards you. And you know in your heart of heart, you can absolutely have that deeper, bigger impact by both serving more, earning potentially more. Let's not shy away from the fact that once you serve more, you should be earning more. And then you can have a bigger impact in different ways as well. Okay, so if this is still sounding certainly like you, what this is not, and this is giving you the opportunity quickly to say, don't stay if this is what you're expecting. This is not going to be the single answer to your lead generation. This is not everything all wrapped in one and whoosh, magic wand, sorted the business. This is also not going to be a replacement for showing up and getting seen. Because once you've nailed this and you've nailed who your person is, you have to share it. You have to get out there. You have to let people see who you are and connect with them and nurture them. This is not going to be done for you. I'm not going to give you a template. I'm not going to give you the answers. But what I am going to do is show you an approach. And if needs be, give you feedback. I'm going to help you to refine that during this session and be able to just have a look at your own messaging. So be your own coach in this. So if you're looking for something that gives you all the answers, I'm afraid you need to stop now. Not going to be in here. Okay, the biggest challenge I hear. Give me an okay, by the way, if you're still here. It's fabulous to know that you are. Let me see if there's any other comments. I just no. Oh, okay. The most common comment I get back when I connect with coaches and we talk about what they do, where their business is, and who they serve is, well, I help all of these people, or I could help all of these people. I could help everybody, and I want to help everybody. I don't want to be excluding them. But the truth is that not everyone wants your help. Not everyone needs your help. Not everyone has that desire to be helped. And by making that assumption that people are all out there wandering around in their lives needing your help, almost puts you on in a way, you're elevating yourself to say, I'm great, everybody needs my help. That's just not true. There are many people quite happy with where they are right now. You also, by saying, I help everybody, you become a jack of all trades. And I don't know if this, Chris, this is an American phrase too, jack of all trades, master of none. When we position ourselves as, I help everybody, even if it's only in one specific thing, but I can still help everybody, you are putting yourself in a very busy, noisy space. Because there's a whole host of people who start a coaching business. They have that's my dog, ridiculously shaking loudly. They start off saying, well, I've got this skill set, and I know that this skill set can transcend any perhaps genders or belief systems. I could help everybody, and I want to help everybody. It's that yearning and it's that desire to help that drives people, which is no bad thing. It is no bad thing. But there's lots of people in that space. They are trying to also be the jack of all trades. Whereas actually, the truth is generalists are rarely successful. If you would think, let's take it outside of the coaching analogy for a moment. If you were changing your kitchen and you had no budget restriction, so money was no odds, would you go to the handyman who would buy a pre-built kitchen unit and fit it in for you, and then while he was there he might do a bit of the electrical work and he might be able to lay the floor, and then when he's finished he might be able to do the painting? Or would you go to each individual trade and get the best person you could, because all they do is bespoke kitchens? Would you go to the designer who's going to make a recommendation to have it hand built? Would you go to the carpenter who is going to craft every individual part? Surely you would. It allows you to be that true expert and therefore charge accordingly for it. Now, this is not always motivated, and I don't want you to take that as, oh, that means I can charge more. That's not necessarily where we're sitting. Here we're talking about trying to elevate yourself to being an expert and standing out. You've got to stand out above the noise. So by being known as that one thing, that's what helps you to just be a bit different. Unless you've got some amazing story that is so standalone, you know, the rags to riches in the extreme, then being a generalist is probably not where you're going to be that standout individual. Okay, so my traditional model, let's start with this because I want us to use this as an opportunity to just check back in with our own understanding, check where we've been with our messaging, and see whether or not we've been dancing around it a little bit, not dive fully in. If you have, brilliant, but there's probably still another layer that you can go to. And then we're going to go into here's the alternative. Here's the piece that perhaps people aren't talking about quite so much. So this model is what I work through with the majority of my clients. They start at different points and they spend different lengths of time at different areas as well. But 9 times out of 10, we start in that bottom left-hand corner. Who is your person? Who is it you serve? Where are they now? So what are they struggling with? Where are you going to get them to? And then what's the offer that fulfills that gap? Once we get that nailed and the messaging is clear, we then go into the second layer, which takes us into the client attraction, lead generation. How do we use it? Where do we post it? What do we talk about? Where do we go? Where is our person? And all of those tips and strategies that allow you to bring those people to you consistently. Today is not going to cover that, as I said. That's about being able to then use what we learned today and implement it into those top 2 layers. So let's revisit that layer 1, the foundational elements. So this is where the majority of early days people, and I absolutely was square in this. By the way, keep commenting, keep asking me questions. Please do play along, ask as we go, and say hi if you haven't already. So from I guess a journey of your own expertise, this to me is the early days. So this is when you recognize you've got a skill set, you're passionate about what you do, and you want to help others. We start off hearing all this is how you do it, and it's always one person with one problem. That's how we can focus on messaging in. So when we get over that, oh, but I want to help all people, I want to just bring them all in and like give them a big hug. When we get over that, we go, okay, right, now I see, because that didn't work. I need to talk to one person with one message. And the beauty of doing that, by the way, I'm not for a minute saying, oh gosh, this is all dreadful, don't do this anymore. The brilliant part of that process of picking that one person with one problem is that you do 2 things. You allow your audience to polarize themselves. So they either go, oh yeah, that's amazing, I am that one person, or no, I'm definitely not that person, and they go. So it creates the space for the right people to come into your world. So those people who are right for you are more magnetized towards you because there's a match, there's a commonality. You talk about them, their challenges, their concerns, where they want to be, how great you want to help support them to build their life. Showing you understand is really important. So being able to get to grips, have that person in your head while you're writing some content, having that in your mind when you create something really helps people to feel understood. And literally, people who feel understood, heard, connected with will be much more likely to buy from you, because you just get each other, don't you? There's a click, there's a thing that happens consciously, sometimes subconsciously, energetically, call it what you will. When you can demonstrate to somebody you understand where they are and you understand their desires and where they want to get to, and it has just that connection piece to it, that's when they will make that decision. You can then, once you've defined your person, you can then go to where they're gathered, because they're already gathered. You've already profiled them effectively, so you know where they're likely to congregate. You can go to them, share your message, show up and give value, and start to build your own audience. Like attracts like. So a lot of us are rooted in our ideal client, almost certainly, to a greater or lesser extent. It might have been a different point in your life. It might have been before you had some sort of life-changing event, revelation that altered things for you. It might be that you're just in front of your ideal client, and actually your ideal client will evolve with you. That certainly happened to me. But ultimately, you can make that connection and you can bond with your person. So who thinks they are here? Share with me in the comments if you think this is describing you and you feel like you have started. Look, the sun is coming blazing out now, it's finished raining. If this is you, brilliant, because if you're doing this stuff, then this has the potential to really bring those people in and to allow you to be magnetic, truly magnetic. If you don't think that's you, or you're doing some of this stuff but not all of this stuff, then again, let me know. Comment as we go. So the beauty of this is that we define very specifically who they are. We look at things like their values, what makes them happy, what supports them in a feeling like they're going to have the potential to grow. We also have a connection to what's causing them their pain or their grief. We don't necessarily need to dig into it and poke it. That's not the way to go. But we have an emotional connection with these people. And I love the approach of giving them a name, because when we talk about who your person is, it will instantly create the vision of who is that person you're serving, what is their position, what are they thinking on any given day, and what do they need to hear from me today to support them. It makes them very real and very tangible when you give them a name. And then we look at their dark. So really clear, not because you're going to dig into it, but so that you can remind yourself how it felt when they were in that place. Because not everyone is going to experience that change or be experiencing it without your help. So not being dismissive of where they are right now, really understanding what are they saying to themselves, what are the risks if they don't get some sort of intervention. Could things get worse for them? Could they end up going down a road of things getting really quite serious and et cetera. Understanding that. We're not going to pull it out of them. We're not going to force them to tell us about it. But remember, we're always looking to achieve in this model about understanding them. And understanding them also means understanding their pain. The next layer then is the light, the sunshine, as has just perfectly timed come out. Knowing how different their life could be, knowing what they will experience as a result of going through a process with you, as a result of working with you, buying your course, having your program, having you by their side. What will they feel? Everything's lifted and all their woes are gone. Now, this is the part where we can look at their return on investment, and it doesn't need to be financial. If you're asking somebody to dedicate some time and effort and energy into working with you, then what's the other side of that? How are they going to feel coming out on the finished sort of process? Is it do they feel now more fulfilled? Do they feel more calm? Have they found ways to manage their stress? Whatever that looks like for you and your person, really be clear that you can paint that picture. And then simply your offer should lead them from that dark place to the light place as the bridge between the two. It can get really overcomplicated, and the temptation is to just tell everyone about everything that they'll do with you, and then we'll look at this, and then in week 2 we'll do this. Very few people want that level of detail. They want to understand, I'm starting here and I want to end up there. What's the easiest way and most painless way to get there as well? But proving that you have the expertise to be able to manage them through that transition and that process. And always talking to the want. They will buy based on their want. And then when you're serving them, you're going to give them what they need. So that is the traditional model, which we've been talking about for quite some time. So tell me while I slurp some tea, are you using that now? Are you new to that model? In which case, that's fine, because you've got lots and lots of opportunity to use that approach in your messaging. But tell me, is that you? Is that what you've tried and feel maybe that it isn't supporting you fully? Let me know. I'm going to slurp some tea. I'm going to assume that you're all busily writing notes, and that's why you can't type in here. Because I'm going back to Facebook to test the comments. So for me, while you're thinking about typing something in for me, I very much worked on this process. And certainly when I first took a coaching program for myself, I was very much schooled in digging into the pain and learning to explain the pain points to somebody, even if they weren't necessarily experiencing them right now. But one of the things that they taught was being able to extrapolate where they are at the moment. It sounds a bit technical, doesn't it? But say you're a health coach and you're helping somebody to get healthier, maybe you use nutrition, diet, etc. The person that you would ideally want to connect with is someone who is potentially on a path to heart disease, diabetes, all sorts of health concerns based on where they are right now. And they talked about very much digging in and poking into that and painting this really pretty grim picture of where they were going to go if they didn't get your help now, and all of this quite grim marketing approach, really, to make them go down the dip even further, to then fly in as a yay, here we go. So I very much was schooled in this approach as I first learned online marketing. And I think I didn't ever go that full route of really digging the pain, but I certainly would be very conscious of, and this is how bad it can be, and this is how bad it got for me, and imagine if it got that bad for you. So yeah, this is, again, no judgment around whether or not you feel you've overdone it or not done it enough. Chris says, yes, I have an avatar, but I also like to think of my email audience as a community. Yeah, that's a really nice approach, so that they're a collective as opposed to that one-off person. Yeah, I like that. And actually, we have got communities through followers, through groups, through a very obvious email list. They are a community by default. Okay, so the other way. So these are much more, I believe, for the level 2. So you're a more established coach. And the reason for this is that this is results driven. I can't highlight this enough. And that's going to spark a few things for you. It's going to spark I haven't got enough evidence. I haven't got enough clients. I haven't got. What if I've only just started? Totally understandable. And yeah, I can very much relate to that. I remember people telling me to, use more social proof, get some testimonials. But if you're early days and you haven't got that, you can't invent them. You shouldn't invent them. It should always be authentic. So how do you tackle, and this is a slight offshoot, but how do you tackle it if you haven't got the results yet to be able to talk to them? So there's a couple of things you can do. The first, most obvious, is if you are rooted in your ideal client to some greater or lesser extent, you will have had some sort of change which resulted in some sort of a result. And that now forms part, maybe a big part, maybe a small part of what it is you do to support other people. It was a valid result. It doesn't matter that it was you. It doesn't matter that you're using you as a couple of different examples, but at different stages in your life or slightly different results that you got. It doesn't always have to be a long list of or I haven't got all that evidence to say all these clients have achieved these results. You can be clear about what those results are. And as long as you've got something tangible that says, I haven't just created this thing out of the air and nobody's ever done it, so I don't really know, it's not tested, then you can use results. The other piece that you can do is offer what you do as a beta offer, or you could offer it at a reduced cost to start to bring in more of those testimonials, particularly if you're launching something new or you're trying a new angle on the same thing. Anything where you're really looking to test and get that evidence, it's a really good opportunity to offer that to people and say, first time you're a founder member, why don't you come through it? Because I'm really interested in the results that you get. Then you can tweak, refine, and go again. So with this approach, it's a slightly different graphic because we're looking at, and it was really hard to find something that represented this without me waving my arms around. Principally, you are looking at the canyon, so the gap between where they are right now and the result that they're going to get. And that canyon in the middle is a challenge of some sort, so that your offer sits nicely in that little cloud above the two. But with this approach, you start at the end. So you start with the result that they're going to get. What are they going to get out of it? How are they going to feel? What's the end goal that they're striving for? It has to always be rooted in the want, not the need, because as we've said before, people don't buy based on the need. You know what they want, you know what they need behind the scenes, but they're going to make that decision because they want something specific. They desire that outcome. And it also, this is the biggest thing, and this for me made me go, oh, I see now how my language has been talking to the wrong person. It calls to those people who are ready. What do I mean by that? Let's take two different scenarios, two different sets of messaging. The first one, you've got your ideal client in mind. They are a struggling, using that word on purpose, new entrepreneur who doesn't know how to find clients. So this is going back to my scenario. I can use the messaging. Are you struggling to find clients and everything you do seems to waste your time? You're spending hours on social media and you just feel like you're stuck. Okay, they might say yes to that because I know that that is their dark. That's what's going on for them. As opposed to, are you results driven, working towards gaining consistent clients, but you just need some help getting there quicker? It's a really different message, but it's talking to the same person. They're in the same place. They're experiencing their business in the same way. But instead of reminding them, are you struggling? Are you doing all of these things and it's not working? And are you starting to resent your business? And all of those negative, heavy emotions that sit with the dark place, we don't necessarily need to be bringing those out. Because if we do bring those out, that person's now, physically, emotionally gone, oh, yeah, I am, yeah, oh, God, and it's such a, oh, yeah. Whereas talking to that person who is looking forward, they're literally looking up as opposed to looking at their feet. They're excited. They say to themselves, yes, I'm results driven. Yes, I want those results. Yes, I want to get those consistent clients more easily. They're uplifted. And they want to do it without having to. So the result leads with the piece. Now, this lends itself to the higher ticket because you are very much talking to that person who's good to go. Right, let's do it. Yeah, I just want the result. And I recognise that getting help to do it will allow me to do it quicker, easier, and with a lot less pain and stress. So hence why those people are more likely to invest in themselves and allow themselves to get those results that little bit quicker than the trial and error on their own. The people who are very much resonating with that emotional language of being in the struggle, and they've got that even things like, are you having to hustle? That word to me, hustle and grind, that's like hard work, isn't it? And that person's getting some sort of reward from being in that place. They're not necessarily ready to move away from that. So by messaging the result, you're going to get those people who are ready to make that move and want those results quicker. The other piece that it does is remove the need for that single person. So no longer do we have to say, well, it's got to be a woman. She's got to be 35 years old. She has to have 2.5 children and this and this and this. That very stereotypical profiling that was in the first model. We don't necessarily have to stick as deeply to that. Yes, there will be some parts where you know your results will be perhaps deeper or more easy for a particular type of person. But let's say you weren't sure whether you wanted to work with men or women. That often is the first question I'll say. Well, if we can't decide, like, let's start with something. Let's start at the top. Men or women? Oh, I don't really mind. I really like working with men and they get great results, but then women add a different blah, blah, blah. So that's sort of the first challenge before you've even started. But with this, as long as that person still desires that same result, it can be open. The trick with it is being very specific about the result they're going to get. Because if you start talking in broad language about, oh, you can live your best life, or you'll have a life so much more fulfilled, and it's too big. It's too big. So it has to talk very specifically to the result you're going to get that person. And then they're able to do all the things we said. They're able to polarize. They're able to self-select. They're able to say, oh, yeah, that's me. Or no, that's not me. Because we're talking to the result. So let's use the nutrition weight loss as an example, and you can see it a little bit more in practice. So if you were being very specific about your person, you might say, I work with perimenopausal women to help them manage their transition into menopause using diet and fitness to help prevent some of the side effects of fatigue, lack of sleep, aches and pains, etc. So you would very much have that one person in mind, as opposed to saying, I help that. We're still going to need to say perimenopausal, or no, it's not going to male, female, but we can say you could be of any age, perimenopausal women, to help to go beyond their menopause with energy, with vigor, with feeling extremely fulfilled, and have a life beyond the menopause, setting them up for long-term health. So you're very much looking at that future pace. If you were, so in my business, I could extend mine out to say, I help results-driven coaches, again, not saying a sex, to gain consistent clients on an ongoing basis to allow you to do more, achieve more, and work less. So very much that future, as opposed to I help male coaches to gain more clients through a particular social media channel. Can you see the difference between the two by leading with the result? Please let me know if you have any questions. Chris, you said you don't subscribe to the fear tactics so many like. Yeah, no, it's true, and it is still used massively. You know, both the fear tactics and the overpromise on the result, which, so the model that we looked at, this is how the bottom changes. So the offer effectively is the bridge, so that you're not concentrating necessarily on the person, you're not necessarily concentrating on their dark, so it's not about their struggle or their pain, but we're really majoring on the result. Now, the big piece, which goes with Chris's comment, the big piece I want you to take from this is these results should be real. These results should be tangible. They should be really, truly what your person wants, and be repeatable. So yes, we've all seen all the promises of, oh, we'll get you to 10K months and you'll have a 10K minute. And if you can't promise, if you can't genuinely hang your hat on, you can get that person those results, I personally do not believe that you should be promising it. You should be able to stand confidently in the results, because, as I said right at the beginning of this approach, you've achieved them. So if you've achieved them and you know you can translate that to other people, you know you can support them to do it too. If it's enough, it is totally enough for it to be you. It's totally enough for you to have helped one person because they were your friend and you did it for free and you didn't even realize it was coaching. That's totally valid. But you can't sell what you haven't either seen in action or got the result of yourself, because it will start to crumble. It will start to look just shaky. It will start to, under any level of scrutiny, it's not genuine, is it? It's just not right to do it. And I fear for all of the marketing messages out there that make these big promises, you know, you can make this, you can make this, you can make this. Yeah, you could. I'm sure you could. But yeah, are they selling something they can hang their hat on that says they might have 25 people go through their program and only one achieves that thing? Well, to me, that's not great odds. So I certainly never make promises to that nature. I've been asked directly, what are the guarantees? And I will openly say, there are no guarantees. There are no guarantees of the results that you're going to get, because I can't take responsibility for that, and nor should you as a coach to the people you're supporting. But you should know that if the person does the work, implements how you'll support them, shows up in a way that you've agreed, that they will most likely get those results. But you can absolutely talk about them as being genuine then. You can get really excited about it. You can give all those examples. You can tell the stories of the client that achieved this thing when they did this thing, or when I did this myself, I achieved this and this. And you can ensure that you get that genuine enthusiasm and passion for something rooted in fact. Always, always. This is a great example of that. And I've used this before, because Camilla's unprompted message to me when I was working with her encompassed everything that I was looking for my business to represent. So the first part of this talks about where she was not feeling good in her business, and how she was getting quite stressed about the way that she'd been taught, and she didn't feel it was aligned at all. And then she went through the process with me to start to build her messaging and build something that she could genuinely keep to and allow herself to shine through with her personality. So it felt aligned. She used the word aligned. She was making real connections, so it felt right. And specifically, she used the words easy, pleasurable, and fun. So when I talk about the results, the outcome for my clients, I talk about, yes, we're going to get you consistency, and yes, we're going to get you a validation for your business, because you'll be bringing those clients towards you. But deeper than that, I'll also talk about the fact that we're not going to do it in a way that makes you go, oh, I hate it, oh, I don't like turning up like that. We're going to do it in a way that you love it, because it will be based on you. Any questions on that approach before we move to the next one? I think I've probably said these. Proven, results driven. So you're going to be defining the results very, very specifically. So they might be tangible, they might be measurable, they might be like, you could look at it, you could feel it, you could touch it, you could prove that someone's gone from having no clients to having 4 clients. Very, very specific. And that allows those people to select themselves, doesn't it? Do you want to go from having 5 clients to 10 clients? Yes, I do. Brilliant. Okay, there you go. You're selecting yourself. Sharing real experiences. I have said most of this. Yours and your clients. Making those results accessible. Now, what I mean by that is, don't talk about the results in that way of, oh yeah, but that's all right for them, or that sounds like something I would never be able to achieve, or so it's so overblown and so inflated. Allow those results to feel achievable to the person you're connecting with. So that's why that testimonial is so good from Camilla, because she describes where she was when she started, feeling downhearted, not really liking what she'd learned already, didn't enjoy her business at all. And she wasn't, and admittedly, an expert in online marketing. She was an expert in doing her thing, but she didn't know how to promote herself. So it makes her very real when people read that. It makes her seem like you can connect with her. And I know that my clients put themselves in her position too. Like, I know what I do is brilliant, but I just don't know how to make that connection with my people. And try and make the process fun. Like we talk about making the offer be appealing, but when we talk about getting those results, there's got to be an upside to it, and you've got to always make sure that it feels like something someone's going to want to do. And if you're a health coach, where maybe there's going to be an adjustment to lifestyle, which might feel a little bit, there are fun aspects to it. So it can't feel hard, and it can't feel inaccessible to that person to be able to relate to. So that is your layer 2, your level 2. Any questions at all on that? How does that feel compared to the other one? be really interested in your reflections, because when I first was taken through this as a concept with my coach, I felt almost an ease, like okay, I could this, or I get to this, or it just relieved a little bit of that single person, single problem, narrowness, that's not my word, but having this as an alternative approach and being able to go to that, particularly when you may be still testing some of your messaging or you're really tweaking it to get it exactly where you want to be. This to me felt just like a real relief of, oh yeah, there's another way to the one that I thought was the only way, or the only effective way, should we say. So yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, so the person's belief, I think we've said this, allow them to be very much in that next level, paint the picture by telling stories, and ensure that your shop front office, so that's the one that you talk about where you're defining what you do in relation to their want, must solve the desire, and always be focused on getting them the result. Like, you've got to passionately feel that you want to get them the results. There's no point in you being focused on, oh, I've got to get them over the line and I've got to sign them up as a client, and then going, oh, right, good, that's done now. Oh, phew, right, next one. You have to be wedded to helping them get that result. Otherwise, why are you doing what you're doing? Okay, final layer, the rocket fuel. I love the little rocket emoji. I use that all the time. So this made sense that it added the rocket fuel. This is much more expert level, where we combine the two. So the two approaches we've just done. So it ends up being both personalized but results driven too. So we start with this one being really, really value based. So this is not about the person having a particular type of house or a profile of like, oh, this person's this age and they weigh this amount and they've got 2 kids. This is about this individual's values, what drives them, what is their moral compass, what's at the heart of them. We also need to be clear on what their return on investment is, super, super clear, because of course we know the results. And this allows you to have that elevated expertise, and this absolutely commands high ticket. You are now languaging to somebody who is very specific, but they are very specific about the result that they want, and they are ready to zoom through your funnel, be it metaphorical funnel, be it actual funnel. They are going to be ready move through. They're going to be the action takers. They're going to be the people that don't dither around on the edges and say, oh, I'll give it another 6 months, I'll give it a year, and they're not the freebie hunters. They are not the people who will change their potential business model time after time after time after giving it a week and it not working. These are people who are singly focused, super driven to get the result that they want, so that they can very quickly see, I'm that person and that's the result I want. Whoosh, yes, I'm in and I'm ready to do it. They recognize the value in what you're going to give. So to bring that into this model then, to bring it all together, you start with your ideal client being on one side. We're not too worried about where they are at the moment. We don't really need to live that with them, other than understanding that maybe their business isn't quite where they want it to be, and they've got a desire for their business to be somewhere else. So when I'm connecting with people on calls, to give you an example, I won't necessarily say, what's your struggle? Where are things not great for you? I'll ask them to describe where them and their business are at the moment. So I'll ask them if they're serving at full capacity. Do you feel like you've got a full book? Are you still available to take on more clients? That gives me a really good picture of where they are. And then I'll ask them to paint their picture of their future, their vision. Where ultimately do you want them to be? And then I ask them about their gap. And I use the word gap because where they are right now compared to where they've painted that picture of where they want to go, it always makes an interesting conversation to see how self-aware they are. And I've heard all sorts of things. So some people will say it's time, or it's know-how, or it's mindset, or it's the strategies, or it's imposter syndrome, or having an awareness of seeing where the gap is great, but I don't need to then go, oh yeah, that must be really bad, and oh yeah, that could get worse and worse. Okay, great, we know. So will the result that I'm going to talk to them about possibly get them over that thing? Probably. Maybe not. Maybe yes. So there are some things that I can't. So I can't invent time for them. I can't necessarily help them to define exactly what their offer's going to be if they've got literally no evidence of any result. But what I can do is help them get from a place where they don't have enough clients to the place where they've got the clients that they want. So in that graphic there, we've got our ideal client. They've got their challenge, they've got their gap, their dark place, which is under the bridge. That's the canyon. And then your offer is the bridge to get them to the light and get them to the result. And that's how we language them all together in a more balanced, but very much with the bigger text, talking about the offer that gets them to the result, as opposed to majoring on this is bad, let's move you forward. So things to consider when you're building this for yourself and putting some of this in place. How can your people recognize themselves in your messaging? So is it enough for you to be able to use broad statements? Is that going to allow them to recognize themselves? Are you talking about the thing that they want, or are you talking in general language? Is it specific to what you're going to help them with? Because there's no point in talking about something that isn't. I wouldn't talk about being able to have an effective Facebook ad, because the majority of what I do is organic. I wouldn't talk about having a very specific Pinterest strategy, because that might not be what we major on. But allowing people to be able to say, oh yes, that's me, then you know your messaging is going to hit. Making sure that you know what's the biggest achievement that they'll get. Again, really, really important, because they might not see it. You paint that picture for them. They might not know. If we talk about what they don't have to do, it alleviates that voice. I have that voice, and I've talked about my struggle with vision boards in the past for exactly this reason, that I have that voice of, if I create this vision or do like the future day journaling thing and indulge in, oh, it's this, and this is what my vision board's going to have on it. I get that voice. Anyone else got that voice that pops in and goes, yeah, but you're not yet there, yeah. You're not there yet, are you? Or what about all those things that sit in between? Or what if this happens? That's cynic. That pull you back down to earth. And actually, everyone has it to a greater or lesser extent. So the reason that we should mention this is what you won't have to do is it just puts those objections to one side and allows them to still stay present with what it is you're going to say you can do. So to wrap it all into a statement, this is what it looks like. So this is mine. I empower. That could be I help, I support, I enable. I use empower. I empower results-driven female coaches. So that's talking to, who is it? I'm not talking about people who are just starting off, who maybe are literally just transitioning from being an employee. I used to, but I don't anymore. They need to be like focused on the result they want to get. To get consistent clients, that's pretty measurable. It's tangible, as we said. We could see, or you've got 3 now and you're going to have 5 by then. That's more clients, but having that consistency. Without, so here's the without. This could be what they're trying or doing already. Spending hours on social media, be it posting, be it reading, be it researching, be it do freebies, do it whatever. And this is how I do it. So using personality-focused multi-channel visibility strategy. So that wraps up all the stuff that we've just covered today in one single sentence, one single statement. Now, it's not necessarily easy to get to that statement, and I totally recognize that. I've got clients who are working on this, so they've done their base layer, they've done their client work, they've done their dark, their light, their offer, and then we try and scoop it all up into a sentence, and we've been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But honestly, when you get this, it both allows you to sit proudly with your, I'm super clear on what I do, who I help and what I help them achieve. But then you can use this to so much effect in different places. It can be your headline, it can be at the top of your bio, you can lead with it on your banner, You can show up with it when people ask in those groups, who are you and what you do? What do you do? This becomes the extension of your introduction because it defines so specifically who you serve and what you help them do, what they're not going to have to do, and then how it is you help them. It's so, so powerful. But it's the culmination. So I don't want you to sit and go, all right, I've just got to scribble this down. Having done those pieces of work that we've just covered, so that where's my person? How am I going to get them the result? What's the result that they're really, really, really working towards? That's then the piece of work to do before you do the statement. So with that in mind, I want to make you an offer because I'd love you to get to that statement position. So I would like to offer you a breakthrough session. They're called breakthrough sessions in the calendar, but to be able to nail this statement with you. Because honestly, the more of you that get this right, the more you start to get above that noise, the more you position yourself as that expert, you get out of that noisy, oh, well, I'm a this, or oh, I'm a this, or I'm a divorce coach, or I'm an empowerment coach, or I'm a parent coach, or I'm a, okay, but there's loads of you. What is it you do? Who do you help? How do you help them do it? And what do they have? What can they avoid? So I'm going to help you to craft that statement using that structure. I will work it through with you. So we finish that 30 minutes with a statement that you feel excited about, a statement that represents you and what you can do. I'm going to drop the link on the top of this video when we're finished. You can literally just book that time. It'd be great if you can send me something as a draft that you've already worked on. So we're already a little way along. But if you're just totally at sea with it, just some thoughts about sharing what you do at the moment would be brilliant. So that's totally a free of charge call where we literally sit and we create your statement for you. If you know you're ready to do some more, you want to progress this, you want to get deeper into really getting your ideal person nailed and then starting to put that into place to attract your clients. So add that additional couple of layers. The 3-session Get Seen, Get Signed mini program is perfect for you because it works on that bottom layer and then it takes a bottom layer and starts to implement it into some lead generation. And then the top layer around having those sales conversations. So in 3 sessions, which are done self-study, and then you come to a one-to-one with me, we look at each one of those in detail. So you get 3 hours of self-study work to do, and then 3 hours of my one-to-one time, normally in between, and you get some feedback in on the work that you do in between as well. Those are available on my website, and until the end of May, just because I haven't got much availability, but until the end of May, I'm also going to offer you, as part of that 3-session package, a 2-hour strategy session totally free of charge. So that's normally priced at £200. I think I'm pretty sure £200. So that is free of charge on the website at the moment. So you can go through, you can purchase it, you can set yourself up so those modules come automatically. It's all automated. We don't need to speak unless we need to. You can go and you can start that off. So those really will take you to that next level. Now, in terms of pricing, let's make sure I get this right in the right way. That Get Seen, Get Signed program is $900 or £717. Depending on the exchange rate. And if you were to go on and invest further on anything with me, that cost gets allocated against what you then move forward with. So it's like a try before you buy. It's my, let's get you some results, let's get you some momentum, and then be able to take you further when you're ready to invest in the bigger program. So 3 sessions, self-study, 3 hours plus feedback in between, to really escalate that and advance you on with your people, with your marketing, with all your strategies to take you forward. I'll drop the link in here to be able to book the call if you want to just hop onto the breakthrough session. And I'll put the link into the Get Seen, Get Signed course as well. Look at that, bang on an hour. That's longer than one I've done for a while. So any questions before we go? Anything that you feel like it didn't quite make sense for you? Anything that you want to ask me, drop it in. Did you enjoy that? Did you get some food for thought? Has that left you with a, oh yeah, this is the thing I'm going to now go and do? If it did, great to share that too. But yeah, let me know. And if you're catching on the replay, same. And remember, you need to be seen to be signed. So go out and do something today that gets you in front of somebody that could be a potential buyer. I'll check back in the comments, see if there's any questions. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I will see you soon in here again. See you soon. Bye.